Hello, hi, and welcome back. Hope you are all doing well. Today we're continuing on our Pride journey. It's prideful, it's animal print, it's rainbow, it's French, it's sparkly, and I love it. It's not as bright as I thought it was going to be. I did use pigment powder. But I did it on top. I did it on top of white, obviously on the French, but then I did it on top of this beautiful builder gel from Light Elegance. It's their Jimmy Gel line Sparkling Rosé building base gel, which I'm going to show you how I applied on my right hand. I picked it up at Premier Orlando this past weekend at the beauty convention. Can't get my words out today. I picked it up this past weekend at the beauty convention, and I want to go through how to apply it. It's very easy, went on very smoothly. I absolutely love it, and I think it's my new favorite builder gel. So I'm going to show you how to apply that, but then we'll get into the actual manicure as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that in a separate video. I just pointed to it off camera and you can see it. I don't know if I'm going to put that in a separate video or this video, but I guess when I make that decision, you'll know. Why am I picking at my cuticles online? Let me fix something. Do a little bit cleaning up here. There's always something, isn't there? Anyway, so as I was saying, I used pigment powder, and I did it on top of this translucent color on, these two fingers. So they didn't come out as pigmented as I thought they would, especially the yellow and the orange, because I just wasn't, thinking ahead. I did go in and outline the zebra stripes with silver to help bring it out a little bit, but wish it was a little bit more vibrant. But we'll do another vibrant Pride manicure coming up. And then I did giraffe on the French nails. This one a little bit too small, and I forgot to outline the one in the center. But we're gonna make them all larger on the right hand. But let's get into the manicure. Stop jibber jabbering. I'm going to go in with my basic prep. I always go in with the hydrator. Right now I'm using the Ombre line. This is the pH bond, step 1 in the 4-step application process for their Gel X nails. And while I do have Gel X on now, and there's really no purpose to dehydrate gel nails, I do it anyway because I have been working with other products. I don't know what's on the surface of my nails. It just pays to put in that extra step. And it's certainly not going to hurt, so why not? Then I'm going in with the step 3, which is the chemical etching, just to help smooth down the edges from filing. If there's any bits that might be lifting a bit. Now this is just my process. This is not something that you need to do. I do think I need to clip off something here on the side. You always want to make sure if you have any bits of gel that looks like it's lifting, you want to clip that off to make sure that you don't trap any moisture And then I'm going to go in with the primer, but just around the cuticle line where I have my my own nail plate. All right, we're gonna give this 2 minutes to dry. I had one weird scenario years ago where, not years ago, like a year ago, the first time I used Apres, their system, the primer underneath between the nail and the, my natural nail turned yellow and got all weird. And I ended up having to remove all of the nails. And I mentioned this to someone that I used to work with, and she said that her sister had that happen once, and it was because she didn't wait for the primer to dry all the way before she put on the base coat. So make sure you give the primer time to set up. I'm just gonna go around and get the residue off of my skin. What you're going to do, as you do with all builder gels when you're doing a backfill, is, and actually I was informed that you don't have to do a slip layer, it's preference. But I do prefer to do a slip layer, which is basically a very thin coat that you put on the entire nail from proximal nail fold to free edge, sidewall to sidewall. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And then you go in, depending upon how much growth you have, you go in with a thicker layer. Mine's not going to be that thick because I don't have that much growth. But you're going to place the dollop down at the cuticle line, at the proximal nail fold. I'm going to get a little bit more. And then you're going to push it up towards the nail fold, and then kind of rock it back and forth up the length of the nail. Now I'm only going to go about a third of the way up, and then I'm going to pull the rest of it and thin it out. Then I'm going to take my liner brush and I'm going to go in and pull it around the corner, making sure that it's close up to the sidewall. You want to keep an eye on that light line, make sure it's nice and even. I'm going to pull lightly on the surface to make sure that it's level, and then I'm going to look at it from the side. Now, because I pulled it towards the free edge, I've got that dollop. I'm going to pull it back down. Give that a second to level out. I'm going to look at it down the barrel. And then you want to flip your thumb upside down if you can. It's not easy, to help it pull towards the apex so that it doesn't flatten out and pull towards the sidewalls. Wait for about 5-10 seconds. And then what I learned also, which I didn't know, is when you flip your hand back over, don't stick it in the lamp right away, because you've pulled the gel away from the sidewalls and the free edge. It's going to be thin. You want to give it a second to let it resettle. And then you can flash cure it either in the lamp or with a pen light. I'm going to use the pen light because I don't want to keep sticking my hand in and out of the lamp.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now,
So you do want to work one finger at a time. Once you have it the way you like it, go ahead and flash cure it and then move on to the next nail.
everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. A bigger scale, the world inhales as we go. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay, once you have all your nails good to go, you can go ahead and put it in the lamp for a full 60 seconds, give it a full cure. Next step is to do our French manicure on the nails that we are doing the French. So bear with me. Actually, I need to shake this. Bear with me while I do my non-dominant hand, well, while I use my non-dominant hand to do my dominant hand. You can do this as large or as petite as you want, however you like your smile line. I'm going to go a little ways up from where you can see the natural line of my skin underneath. And then I'm going to fill it in. I always find my thumb the easiest to do because I can put it, you know, face up. Going to go ahead and sharpen up that line, taking my cleanup brush and a little bit of acetone. Ever have something nearly perfect and you keep messing with it and then you mess it up? Next step is one of the easier steps in the manicure. Just put on a layer of matte top coat. This is one of my favorite things to do, is using the pin light and watching it go from shiny to matte. So now we have our pigment colors. These are from Magpie Beauty. They come in all shades and colors of the rainbow, and we are going to use them very carefully because they do get all over the place. I'll be using six of the colors. I won't be using pink because I don't have enough fingers for that, as most people don't. Oh, I just knocked one of my applicators. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to go finger by finger. On my left hand, I used isopropyl alcohol and I wiped the, there is still somewhat of a tacky layer on top of the nails. I went and wiped that, but I think I'm gonna try and do it without wiping this time because I'm wondering if maybe I'll get more pigment if I don't wipe it, that is. So I'm taking, let me make sure I'm actually still recording. Yes, I'm taking the red and I'm going to find the applicator that has the red on it. And then I'm going to go over half of the nail. Now don't worry about going outside the lines because you can wipe it with some alcohol and it'll come right off. You don't have to press too hard, just go ahead and burnish it into the nail. And then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to do the orange on the other side. And then blend it in the center. All right, I'm not going to dust it or anything. I'm just going to take my cleanup brush. I'm going to go in with a little bit of acetone and clean up underneath the line. If you do remove it from the nail, you can just go back in and add more. And now moving on to the next nail. So the next nail is going to be full coverage. So I'm going to leave the orange out. Ooh, and I'm going to put away the red because we are done with it. And I'm actually going to lay the yellow down first. The orange is more pigmented, surprisingly enough. And I had trouble blending it out with the yellow. I'm going to move this over to the side and grab my yellow. Gonna put away the orange and move on to the yellow and green. Okay, now this is wonderfully vibrant. If you want to go with a very vibrant, shouting your pride from the rooftop, which everybody should, go ahead and do that. Then just base coat and top coat on top and you are good to go. But we are going to go a step further and do our animal print. First, we're going to clean up the pigment powders so that we don't knock them over. Because if you know me and you know this channel, you know I make a mess frequently. So at this point, you want to be really careful because it is not sealed. You don't want to accidentally get acetone or anything on it. We are going to be working with clear. clear base coat specifically so that it remains tacky. I'm going to put a little bit more on my palette. And we're going to be drawing our animal print. So I'm going to be using my 7mm brush. You want to make sure that you don't drag the brush across the pigment because that will dilute it. It is going to fade slightly, but you want to, and it's difficult because you're drawing with clear. For the giraffe print or whatever print you want to do, I would suggest doing a little bit at a time and curing as you go. At this point, you can't really wipe the nail because you'll wipe off pigment powder. But at least this way, the lines that you're drawing won't run into each other if you do a few at a time and then cure them. The real magic happens when you wipe the nail afterwards, so stay tuned for that. This kind of is a trust the process type deal. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give this nail a full cure, and then we're going to wipe it so that you can see what it looks like before moving on to the rest of the nails, and then I will wipe everything at the end. All right, truth time. Go ahead and take a lint-free wipe and some acetone. You don't want to scrub the nail. You just want to lightly wipe it over the surface, and you will see the pattern revealed. And just like that, we have giraffe print in rainbow ombre. Now that definitely did come out brighter than on my left hand. It may also be because the pattern's slightly larger, but I do think that the pigment showed up a bit better without me wiping the tacky layers. So let's go ahead and continue. I'm going to finish the giraffe print first, and then we'll move on to the zebra. Okay, what are we doing? The zebra lines are kind of a little bit easier because they range in thickness and they kind of go at a diagonal. And you can kind of do whatever you want. And no two zebra have the same lines. They're like fingerprints. Each zebra is unique. I'm gonna keep saying zebra. I think it sounds better. So just mix your thick and thin. Sometimes they go in a V format. You can have it go all the way across or break in the middle. I would say if you're doing it over a less pigmented color like yellow, and I say it's less pigmented because of the base color I used behind it, which is very translucent. I would say make a lot of your lines a little thicker so that it picks up the yellow. I'm gonna do that half and cure it, and then I'm gonna go back and do the other half. Okay, truth time. Going ahead and grabbing more, what's it called? Acetone, and wiping the nail. So you can see how much detail you lose just because I used a really translucent color behind it. You don't get the payoff as well with the lighter, with the orange and the yellow. It is a little bit better than on my left hand, but we are going to be adding in the silver detail to help make it pop a little bit. Again, even on the white background, can't really pick out the yellow too much, but the green looks really good. Yeah, this really turned out a lot better than it did on my left hand. Even don't really, don't really even need the silver on some of the nails, but for uniformity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on my right hand that I did on my left. So I've got some silver on the palette, but I think I'm going to take out a little bit more. This is Mirror Shine Gel from Makartt. Going to go ahead and use my smaller liner brush again. And we're just going to lightly outline, not all the way around. Going to try to be a little bit more dainty than that. Why does it always feel like my earbud is falling out of my ear? All right, last step is to base and top coat everything, and then we are done. I really like the way the right hand came out better, but I am not redoing the left hand. There's no way. So just go ahead and base. The reason I am base coating first is to get that tacky layer back on to hold the top coat. And then once we have the top coat on, we can go ahead and clean up. Okay, at the end, I like to go around with my hand file and just crisp up the edges again. If there's any color, especially with French, I like to get that line really smooth. And then using the softer side, I use a 180 grit. On the 180 grit side, I go underneath and just smooth it out. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands, and when I come back, we will go over everything that we did. All right, let's take off the jewelry so that we can do some hand cream. Moisturize or get some moisture back into our skin after checking the time. Another 5-hour manicure. And then we're gonna go in with some cuticle oil as well. So we did a lot in this video. We did a Build-A-Gel backfill, although I can't open this. My hands are greasy now. I'm pretty sure that I separated out the two videos though. So if there was no Build-A-Gel backfill in this video, it is in the preceding video. So go check that out. It will be linked in the cards. I went over Jimmy Gel from Light Elegance. It's a wonderful Build-A-Gel, very easy to apply, HEMA-free, as well as free from most of the chemicals that are used in the industry. So definitely check them out. I will link them down below in the description box. But this video covered another Pride manicure, ombre with pigment powder, some French, some animal prints. And yeah, I think it came out really well. I'm really pleased with it. You'll have to let me know what you think down in the comment section. Comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let me know if there's any other subjects you want me to cover, any tips, tricks, techniques, designs, products, anything. Just let me know if there's something specific you would like me to cover that's going to do it for this video. Have I even been in frame? Yeah, so that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.